All right, race fans, welcome to TurnLeftTV. Be ready for some high-speed action tonight. Step on the gas. All right, race fans, welcome to Vegas.
Don't let off gas.
This is TurnLeftTV, and I am your host, Heath Johnson. This is Las Vegas tonight. Race number 3 in the Saturday Showdown Series. 100 laps here at Vegas. Who's going to get thrown in jail? Who is going to win this race tonight? There's only one way to find out, and that is follow it live right here on TurnLeftTV. Well, the Saturday Showdown Series in Vegas, and I am sure somebody's going to end up broke and in jail. It's race number 3 of the season, and it is live right here on TurnLeftTV. All right, hey, thank you so much for coming in. Sorry we're a little bit late here. We got some internet issues going on here, a little internet bug going on right now for drivers, so you know, we're missing some folks because they may actually have their internet blocked here, joining here in the United States. So hopefully cooler heads prevail. But tonight, we've got Vegas headed your way. And thank you so much for coming in. These guys are moving over to the qualification session. Again, thanks for coming in tonight. This is the Saturday Showdown Series, race number 3 of the season. This is Vegas. Tonight, 1.5 miles, great track. Fast, furious, aggressive, and enticing. I'm your broadcaster, commentator, Heath Johnson. Again, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. We'll take a look at the track here at Vegas. 2.5 mile tri-oval track, great little track here. Banking in the turns 12 to 20 degrees. And an interesting track, really. I think it's a lot of fun. It really lends itself to a little bit more of an aggressive style of driving. So we'll be interested to see how this shakes out for these guys. Got a little bit of lighter field today. People on vacation, some people visiting family, and then we've got some folks in other parts of the world that are having some problems connecting here to the servers in the United States. Thanks so much for coming in and joining me here on TurnLeftTV. Peace to everybody out there. Behave, be good to one another. My habits, man. We need that right now. We need people being kind to one another and loving each other and finding the good things in people versus the bad things, right? So everybody's got their faults, and, we try to bring a lot of people together here and enjoy some sim racing. Mutual love of sim racing, and we've got folks from all around the world, man, and I cherish each and every one of them here at High Octane Racing League, and all my viewers here at TurnLeftTV. Please hit that thumbs up button and let me know you were here, and don't forget to click on those links down in the description of this race and follow those over to the Fanatec website. There's also a link to PayPal if you'd like to make a donation to TurnLeftTV or High Octane Racing League. Appreciate your helping us out here. So, again, thanks for joining us. We got a good race here tonight at Vegas in the Saturday Showdown Series. Tonight's race is brought to you by EliteHostingUSA.com. If you're interested in an rFactor 2 server, great servers, man. Not only that for hosting your game, rFactor 2, but also for WordPress hosting and online store hosting. That's EliteHostingUSA.com. No matter where you are in the world, we can provide you with a server in your region. We'll take a look at the schedule here in the Showdown Series. Vegas today. Next week, we got Phoenix. Should be a great one. Watkins Glen, little road course action headed your way on March the 19th. Richmond Raceway on April the 2nd to start the back half of that season. You see Homestead, Riverside, another road course on April the 16th. Pocono Raceway, and then Kentucky Speedway finishing out the season on April the 30th. Don't forget, a little bit later, we'll be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for 120 laps. You don't like how I'm broadcasting? You can come on out and join me on the track. Saturday Night Thunder. I'll be racing in this race tonight. Race number 5 of the season. Great Cup Series. And I love Las Vegas, man. I'm excited for this race tonight, and I'm going to beat up on some guys. So we call this Beat the Broadcaster Night. It's where I get out of the broadcast booth, get into the driver's seat, and make it happen. And enjoy the camaraderie of racing alongside my friends. In the qualification session right now. And we will kick it over to warm up here very soon. Take a look at our keys to the race here tonight. Tri-oval discipline. That means you're going to get tight in the tri-oval. And man, you better be on your game and stick to your line, or things are going to get ugly in a hurry. Good pit stops, man. On and off pit lane solidly tonight. We had some green flag pit stops last night in that Bushwhacker Series, and it really did shake some things up, too. Too wide danger, man. Getting side by side. Make sure you hold your line, man. You get out of line, and things get haywire in a quick if you're too wide. So lap traffic patience as well. Once you start getting through lap traffic, you're going to have to be patient on getting around some of these guys that may be going a lap down or already a lap down, and then know when it's time to go. You get about 20 laps to go. It's time to hit that gas pedal and start taking names, kicking butt and taking names. So those are my race keys tonight, man. Be patient here. It's a fun track, an aggressive track. And it does lend itself to guys racing a little bit more aggressively. So just tone it down a little bit until we get to the end of the race, and you can go get after it. We have a couple guys here joined in the warm-up session, or will be joining in the warm-up session, that were not here for the qualification, so they'll be starting in the back of the field. Don't forget, next week we got California headed your way in the High Octane Racing League Bushwhacker Series. Race number 8 of the season, 90-lap race. And this will be a great one, man. The Bushwhacker Series, always a fun one. So you'll want to tune in. It'll be live right here on TurnLeftTV. That's Friday, March the 11th. Don't forget to join us over at highoctaneracing.net. Uh-oh, where's my website? Where's the website? Oh! Looks like there we go. highoctaneracing.net was MIA there on my through my browser, or my OBS browser there for a second. I thought, my God, I've lost my website. Don't forget to join us over at highoctaneracing.net and get point standings and also screenshots of winners and champions and so forth. Quick link to TurnLeftTV. And also you can see what guys are running throughout the week using that rFactor 2 times link. So that should be a bookmark on your web browser. Looks like the qualification session is over. We will take a look at the results. Ricardo Almeida starts in P1. Gary Madu qualifies in the second position. Claudio Bardelli Jr. third. Mike Schreiner qualifies fourth. Valdo Spindola qualifies in the fifth position. Qualifying in sixth, Preston Hassel. Ed Palumbo qualifies seventh. Paulo Gouveia qualifies in the eighth position. Sean Jacobs ninth. Will Dunbar qualifies in the 10th position. We got some guys who are joining here late. They will also be out on the track here tonight. last week's winner. We got the big win last week, and that was Stanislav Pavlov. Who's not here tonight. He's spending a special weekend with his lovely wife. Said first time in 8 years that he hadn't had he and his wife have been able to take a trip without the kids. So best of luck, Stanislav. You better get stretched out first, buddy. Oh, we love Stanislav. He's got a great sense of humor. One of our great HORL members from Europe. So hopefully Stanislav is having a great weekend with his wife. And we'll see him next week, hopefully. He's not too rough on him. So he got the big win at California last week. 62 car, always a factor to win this race. Definitely wish him the best of luck. Checking out the chat session here. Kent Thomas is coming in here, I believe, to join us. So I was letting him know he needs to jump on Discord. Mrs. Almeida's in here. Good to see Mrs. Almeida. Oh, I wonder who she might be rooting for tonight. Let's see. Will D in here as well. He's racing tonight. Check out our side-by-side view. Make sure that is working tonight, and it looks like it is. Second computer there working just fine. Got a few things I think I got to set up on that. I'm busy taking care of some administrative things. You know how it is, man. It's a little crazy with this game. It's a little funky sometimes. Got about 3.5 minutes left in the warm-up session, and we're still waiting on a couple guys to join the server here. We're having some trouble today with guys trying to join and getting disconnected here. But looks like we're still waiting here. Just a couple drivers here that are having some trouble connecting here, so FYI. All right, I think we're about ready to go, man. We're getting there. We're getting there, I promise you. So all those rFactor 2 fans out there, and I put fans in quotes. rFactor 2 fans. All those rFactor 2 fans out there understand the trials and tribulations sometimes here. Some of the guys that are having trouble connecting to the track just raced this exact track last night, so. So it's the same exact version of the track, and these guys having trouble. So it has to be mod related, I think. Looks like got a couple drivers trying to get in. Man, we're going crazy here. What's going on? Who's going to win this race tonight? Who knows? Last man standing. That's the way it's going to be. Last man standing tonight. That may not be the broadcaster. We are about half an hour late here so far. We're waiting on one more driver, I believe, maybe. All right, it looks like we're going to go when the clock runs out. Keep your fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, here we go, boys and girls. It is that time. Time to get things going here. Finally.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, singer, songwriter, megastar, and Ford truck man, Toby Keith.
It's time to get in, sit down, shut up, hold on, drivers, start your engine!
All right, here we go. I think the starting order here is Ricardo Almeida starts on the pole there in P1. Gary Madu starts in the second position. Claudio Bardelli third. Mike Schreiner starts in the fourth position. Starting in fifth is Givaldo Spindola. Preston Hassel starts sixth. Ed Palumbo starts seventh. Paulo Gouveia starts in the eighth position. Starting in the ninth position is Sean Jacobs. Will Dunbar starts 10th. Jair Oliveira starts in the 11th position. And starting in 12th is Kent Thomas. 13th was Denis Morozov, but it looks like he left the server. All right, here we go. 100 laps. Ricardo Almeida, he's already got one win this season. Can he make it two? Our IndyCar specialist, Ricardo Almeida, showing us how it's done in the stock cars as well, qualifying in P1. Gary Madu qualifies in the second position. Bardelli Jr., you know he's going to be a factor. Mike Schreiner also going to be a factor here tonight. Those guys are starting in third and fourth. Givaldo Spindola, man, I'll tell you what, his qualification packages each and every track here is greatly improved. He's looking pretty solid here tonight. He's got a good, solid starting position. Here we go. Pace car is in. 100 laps here at Vegas. Almeida there out to the lead. Little battle there back for the second position. Looks like Gary Madu has cleared Claudio Bardelli Jr. He is in second. Bardelli Jr. in third. Good battle there, side-by-side battle between he and Mike Schreiner, I believe. Mike Schreiner now in that 188 car. Oh, we got a hard lick there in the outside wall. Looks like Givaldo Spindola in the outside wall. And then also the, looks like Jair Oliveira also caught up in that as well. Got a spoiler here on the track, it looks like. Got some debris on the track. So it looks like a spoiler there dead on the track. We'll take a look and see what happened here. Okay, look and see what happened here. It looked like somebody come off the wall. Take a look. It looked like Givaldo might have made contact with the wall there. And then all heck breaks loose. We'll take a look here. See Givaldo drifting up the track, gets into the 11 car, and then, oh, hard contact right there. And then 11 car at Palumbo hanging on to that thing. So a first caution flag here. And wow, man, that got a little crazy. It looked like Givaldo just came off the wall, came across the 11 car, and then all heck breaks loose there. Ricardo Almeida, the leader. Gary Madu is in second. In third is Mike Schreiner. Claudio Bardelli Jr. shown in the fourth position. Guys coming down pit road here to top off on fuel, maybe to get some tires put on that car. We repair a little bit of damage. So the 22 of Ricardo Almeida leading here on lap 5. Gary Madu is in second, Mike Schreiner third. Preston Hassel in that Twix sponsor machine. The 27 car shown in the fourth position. Kent Thomas is in fifth. Givaldo Spindle taking some extensive repairs on pit lane. Now finishing up his pit stop.
It'll be one to go this time, bud.
All right, here we go. Get ready to go back green. This thing rocking, man. Let's get some good green flag laps in. Raps? I can't rap, man. I tried it. Green flag laps. Here we go. Back to green.
Green flag, go, go, go.
I made it down to the inside. Clearing Gary Madu, Mike Schreiner. Those guys running in P2, P3. In that 63 car. Battling on the outside line here, trying to maybe get around Almeida. Almeida down the grass. Hold on, does a great job holding on. He's going to slide up the track there. This is going to create some problems here. Hopefully these guys get this worked out. Holy smokes, what happened there? What happened there? There was contact, I believe. Wow. Boy, I tell you what, Ricardo Almeida got off track, and I think there might have been some contact. He's dropped back, lost some positions there, so there was certainly some stuff going on there. Take a look at Paulo Gouveia in his first race out in the number 6 car. Got the Lakers paint scheme out there on the track. Having a battle with Kent Thomas. Track can be a little slick. Ricardo, man, I'll tell you what, he took a ride. Take a look at this ride here Ricardo Almeida took. And I don't know if there was contact. What happened here? Might have been some contact there. We have a little bit of a bad angle. The camera, I think there might have been some contact between he and the 63 car, but Ricardo Almeida, man, does a great job of hanging on to that thing. Right here, I think there might have been a little help right there. Got underneath him, a little help, and sends him sailing. He does a great job of hanging on. My heavens, man. Go back up here and look at our live feed, and Ricardo Almeida now caught back up to Gary Madu. And he gets by, so this is fired that 22 car up, huh? Ricardo Almeida on fire right now. Around the KISS sponsor machine number 63, Gary Madu. Kent Thomas, Paulo Gouveia here battling now. Kent Thomas down to the inside in that 89 car. That might be 89 car. He's battling Paulo Gouveia. Gouveia in the 6 car, they're dropping back. Get out of the back of Kent Thomas machine. See Paulo Gouveia up on the high side, that Toyota Supra number 6 car. Valdo Spindola back there as well. At Palumbo, Sean Jacobs here battling it out. At Palumbo in the 11 car, Sean Jacobs down that 24 car on the bottom side. You see also Jair Leveda, who's in 1 lap down now after extension repairs to his car. He's in this mix. He's trying to, he's in that lucky dog position. He wants to see a caution flag so he can get back on the lead lap. 17 car getting by the 24, not for position. 24, Sean Jacobs. Oh, there's contact right there. Gouveia up into the wall. Spindola and Gouveia got together. Valdo Spindola and then Paulo Gouveia get together here. We'll take a look. Actually, that is Will Dunbar in the 90 car. There might be some contact here. A little bit earlier. So Gouveia goes down to the inside. He's still looking around on the inside. Just a little bit earlier, I believe. Just that. So it looked like Gouveia had gotten up into the wall. Go back to our live feed here. We are getting some word that Gouveia has come around. Take a look. Gouveia hard into the turn right there, and he spins his car, but he keeps it pointed in the right direction. What a great job holding on to that thing. Gouveia does a great job holding on and almost looped that car around. So the 6 car keeps it pointed in the right direction. My heavens. He has had a busy night here. Getting somebody puffing some smoke, I believe. Gary Madu looks like his engine overheating a little bit. So the rule is if you smoke for a lap continuously, and right now not so far, but it's pretty darn close, you're going to have to come down pit lane and take some tape off. So right now it looks like Mike Schreiner leading the field. We'll take a look here. Good battle between Sean Jacobs, Claudio Bardelli Jr. Bardelli Jr. Oh! Bardelli Jr. gets sideways. Did you see that? Bardelli Jr. almost looped that car as well. So the 57 car almost spins out. My heavens. Mike Schreiner continuing to lead here. So these guys have a little bit trouble with the setup. Mike Schreiner continuing to lead. Ricardo Almeida is in second. Gary Madu third. Preston Hassel is in fourth. Sean Jacobs running in the 5th position. We'll take a look at Sean Jacobs here running in P5. His 24 car. Vulcan's sponsored machine. Getting ready to go to Florida and watch his son play baseball, huh? How about that? Take a look here as the 63, Gary Madu, now catching back up to Ricardo Almeida, rekindling that battle. Side by side, Almeida on the inside line. Both those guys from Canada. Canadians here battling it out as that KISS sponsored machine. Gary Madu now takes over P2, or back to P2, as Almeida falls back to the 3rd position. Claudio Bardelli Jr., Ed Palumbo here battling it out. Bardelli Jr. down to the inside, battling Ed Palumbo in the 11 car. And the 57, Claudio Bardelli Jr. now picking up the spot in 6th position. Will Dunbar and Kent Thomas. Kent Thomas up on the wall. Will Dunbar down to the 90 car. Goes by on the low side. Picks up that spot. So Kent Thomas, the 89, now back to the 9th position. The 88 of Mike Schreiner out front. At about a 1-second lead over Gary Madu. Mike Schreiner indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane this time by. As Gary Madu staying out on the track. KISS sponsor machine. So we got pit stops underway. Mike Schreiner, Ed Palumbo, both on pit lane. Preston Hassel indicating he's going to be coming down pit lane. Gary Madu still out on the track, leading some laps here. Side-by-side view as we see Gary Madu leading the field in that 63 car. Mike Schreiner, the 188, is in ninth now, as now 10th as he finishes up his pit stop. Gary Madu now making a pit stop. Claudio Bardelli Jr. now to the race lead. Claudio Bardelli Jr., our leader. Will Dunbar is in second. Gary Madu, Sean Jacobs, both on pit lane. Will Dunbar on pit lane here in the 90 car, so he's making his pit stop. Bardelli Jr. to the lead. Now, Oliveira showed in the second position. He is going to need some caution flag there to get back on that lead lap, I think. He is shown in second, but he's about 26 seconds behind the leader. And I would say he's going to be a lap down here once things shake out. So he had some pretty extensive damage in Oliveira in the 117 car making a pit stop. Claudio Bardelli Jr. also coming down pit lane. He's on board here with Claudio Bardelli Jr. So the 57 car taking service. Gary Madu back out on the track. He and Mike Schreiner running together here in the 63 and the 188. So nose to tail here, the 63 and the 188. These guys probably doing a little working together, I would imagine. Ricardo Almeida running in the third position. He may have trouble running up on these guys. He's in that 22 car. And oh, we got a caution flag. If we got a caution flag, I believe. No, we don't. Yes, we do. Caution flag. Paulo Gouveia is on the inside there, making contact with the wall. So we saw Gouveia off the track against the inside wall. Something's going on with Paulo Gouveia. So Jair Oliveira gets back on the lead lap, I believe. The lucky dog position. Some guys coming down pit lane here. It looks like Claudio Bardelli Jr. has stayed out. 38 laps in. We're having a little trouble getting started here today, so we're running a little bit late. So guys are complaining about a really loose condition with this setup. So they've been adding positive wedge to this thing, because as this run goes on, this thing actually gets really snappy loose.
Pit road will be open this time.
Bardelli Jr., the leader now. He might end up popping down pit lane here. We'll see. He really did just make a pit stop, so he might decide. It looks like he's elected to stay out. Jair Oliveira is coming down pit lane, I believe. Take a look at the 117 car. So Bardelli Jr., the leader. Gary Madu second. Mike Schreiner is in third. Ricardo Almeida fourth. Sean Jacobs running in the fifth position. Colombo, Hassel, Dunbar, Thomas, and Oliveira rounding out the top 10. Don't forget, coming up next Friday, we'll be back in California. I'm going back to Cali. Cali. I don't think so. 90 lap race. That's a throwback rap song. And race number 8. Be the Bushwhacker Series. This season is winding down, man. I tell you, going to be interesting. So Cali in the Bushwhacker Series, always a fun series, really is. So excited about that series. See, to see what we got coming up. We got a great little schedule there in the Bushwhacker Series. Looks like Bardelli Jr. has elected to go to the inside line. Start on the inside this time by. Showdown schedule, of course, next week. We got Phoenix Raceway, 140 laps there from a great track. A little over a mile in length, and this track is 5 turns, in my opinion. Man, that dog leg on the backstretch adds to the flair of that track. Makes it very, very unique. So that's coming up next week here in the Saturday Showdown Series. All right, we got a special guest up here in the booth, John Stanley. And, hey, man, what's your analysis of the race so far?
So far, it's been a pretty good race, and I had an early caution there, and now we just had this one. But other than that, it's a little chippy, but not bad for a race.
Well, we're getting ready to go back green, and you have anybody on your radar here for potentially walking away with a victory here?
Yeah, the one I always figure would be Ricardo, but he's had a few little bumps there early, and Gary seems to be strong, and also Mike Schrader. So, I think it's almost anybody's game right now.
Green flag, go, go, go.
Guys are also complaining a little bit about a loose condition here. What would you suggest these guys do to get rid of that loose end condition?
Well, I would say put a little bit of more wedge in it, or either that, or maybe a rubber on the left rear.
Good side-by-side battle right there with Mike Schreiner and Gary Madu. A couple teammates there battling it out. These restarts, I think, John, can always be a little dicey, especially when you start getting a rubbered-in track.
Yes, and as the race goes on, people get a little more aggressive, and I don't know, from last night's race, the bottom groove seems to be pretty good for the first 2 or 3 laps. Then you really got to watch out. Ricardo's making some good moves here now, so I think he might have got everything straightened out.
Yeah, we're checking Ricardo Almeida out right now. He's running in the 4th position. Now it looked like he's challenged Mike Schreiner for the 3rd spot. So Gary Madu is our race leader. Claudio Bardelli Jr. second. Ricardo Almeida third. Mike Schreiner now back to the 5th position. We're back to 4th. Sean Jacobs is in 5th. Mike Schreiner there dipping below that white line. Now having a battle with Sean Jacobs. Jacobs up on the outside line. He in the 188 battling side by side for the P4. Preston Hassel now trying to squeak through on the outside line. So it looks like the outside line right now is a little bit better. As I watch this, John, it looks like that outside line a little bit better here early on.
Yes, like just from last night's race, like the outside line seems to be the preferred line, or at least it was with me last night, because once you had a few laps on your car, the bottom line was a handful.
We got a good battle here for the lead shaping up between Ricardo and Gary. They've already had a little bit of contact earlier in the race. Couple Type A personalities right here battling it out.
Yeah, Sean seems to be quite strong there, although he just bumped the wall.
Got a yellow flag here now. Like Mike Schreiner in the 188 car involved. So we'll take a look and see what happened here. Sean Jacobs and Bardelli Jr. having a little battle here through the tri-oval area. Bardelli Jr. on the inside, that 57 car, 24 up on the outside line. Oh, Sean Jacobs got into the wall there a little bit.
Looks like when Sean hit the wall there, it slowed everybody behind him, and Mike didn't get slowed up enough. Preston.
Yeah, it does look like the 24 got up into the outside wall. Take a look at this again. Yeah, it looks
that
like
wall seems to be a problem today. For some reason, I've noticed a lot of guys have been putting their little mark on it.
We'll back up here and look at it a little bit earlier and see what kind of led to that. Right here, guys check it up, and you see that 188 car and the 27 getting together. And then that sort of transpires just a checkup with the 24 getting into the wall. Well, now we see some pit stops here underway. John, what's the strategy here? 4 tires and fuel, or maybe do a 2-tire stop?
I would say that they're going to do a 2-tire stop, or at least the majority of them. They haven't got that many laps on their tires, so. I think here, precision's the name of the game, so whoever can get out first is get the fresh air.
We're watching the 63 on pit lane. Looks like the 63 there maybe taking 4 tires. He lost some positions on pit lane.
Yes, and I see Mike Strider there. He must have gotten some damage repaired, and I believe he took 4 tires too. Of course, he spun her out, so.
Yeah, it looks like that checkup there. Sean had gotten up into the wall, and these guys checking up behind, and bottleneck, and Schreiner gets into the back of into the back of Preston Hassel and spins.
Yeah, Mike had a pretty good head of steam going into that corner, and I just don't think he could have avoided it because, the Preston and car had him both checked up for Sean.
Looks like we see Kent Thomas getting his bonus points and coming down pit lane, take some service.
Yeah, you never know when that point's going to be important toward the end of the season.
Yeah, they definitely add up, that's for sure. Make a habit of that.
Well, we've seen some pretty tight point finishes here, so like I say, a 1 point, 2 points can make a big difference sometimes.
Well, we got a little bit different look here up front this time. It looks like Ed Palumbo's getting that 11 car up front, so that'll add a little bit of a different flavor, I think, to this restart. Got Jair Oliveira has gotten his lap back and now back in contention for maybe a top 5 finish. Claudio Bardelli Jr. in 57, you know, he's always strong as well.
Yes, this could be a very, very interesting restart.
They've got a couple of guys who don't really race a lot with us in stock cars. You know, Ricardo is an IndyCar specialist. He's doing a great job in the stock cars here. And then also JJ's sort of been a little hit or miss lately racing with us in stock cars.
Well, I used to race Ricardo back in the day, and he was very strong with stock cars too. So I don't think he lost that touch.
Yeah, one of the fellow Canadians.
Yes, sir.
We won't hold that against him. Well, we're a little past halfway now. What do you think the mindset here is these drivers as we look at this back half of the race?
Well, as we get closer to the end, you know, the aggression's going to come out, and people are not going to be willing to give the inch that they did before. So it could get a lot of fender rubbing here.
Crank up the aggressiveness just a little bit, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ricardo Almeida, the inside here. And, he will start in front as Ed Palumbo starts in the second position. Jair Oliveira will start in third. Claudio Bardelli Jr. starts in the fourth spot. As we get ready to go back green. It looks like we got Paul Brown in the stream chat. What do you think's going on there?
I might be getting some hints for tonight.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Getting ready to go back green. All right, pace cars off. Here we go. Start lap 53. Side by side there, Ed Palumbo and Ricardo Almeida. A couple of cagey veterans for oval racing. Side by side. Ed Palumbo in that 11 using that outside line. And we've seen, these guys getting 3 wide there behind. 3 wide. Back behind, so this is getting interesting looking out of the back of Ed Palumbo's machine. These guys had it sorted out, it looked like. Actually, that was looking out of the back of Ricardo Almeida's machine. Oh, he and Ed Palumbo get together. Tight racing right there. Ed Palumbo's got a little help on the outside line, but Gary Madu in his 63 car now going to try to squeeze through following Ed Palumbo. Things starting to get a little aggressive here. 11 of Ed Palumbo to the lead. How long is Gary Madu going to run behind Ed Palumbo? That run on the outside as Ricardo Almeida giving Gary Madu a taste of his own medicine here. Ricardo Almeida down to the inside. He's now re-challenging here at Palumbo. Side by side through the tri-oval. Palumbo got a little bit of a nose ahead of the 22 car, but the 22 using this inside line and drifting up a little bit there, tight. Coming off turn 2, down the backstretch. This is for the race lead here. Gary Madu, is he going to try to split the difference? This would be crazy to go 3 wide at this track. Good battling here. Madu going back up the high side. And Palumbo now inching ahead of Ricardo Almeida. Great 3-way battle here for the race lead. Madu going down to the inside. Now battling Palumbo, looking to try to take the lead here. He wants to get away from this action. Open up a little bit of a distance here. Get side by side. Ed Palumbo, Gary Madu. This is for the race lead. This is a great battle here. Look at this, Claudio Bardelli Jr. making a pass here on Jair Oliveira. Oliveira in that 117 car up on the high side as the 57. Bardelli Jr. picking up P5. Bardelli Jr. now back to, JJ back to the 6th position. These guys figured it out up here. And Palumbo will not be denied today, this 11 car. He's going to hold on to that spot. Gary Madu is challenging again on the inside line. Madu there picking up that spot. Ed Palumbo trying to slam the door on Ricardo Almeida. Almeida down to the bottom line. Maybe going to use the toe from the 63 car. Ed Palumbo still battling up on that outside line. Tell you what, man, we are seeing a great race up front with those 3 guys.
Yeah, and don't forget Sean's right there too, so he can be a cake maker. It depends who he goes with.
Notice these guys starting to get a little bit tighter door to door coming off the turn. Looks like Almeida might have made a little contact with the wall.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
We got a yellow flag.
Yep, looks like Spindola is coming around. I don't know if he got any help or not. We'll have to check.
Take a look and see what happened here. There's Givaldo out there sort of by himself, gets up into the wall, hard contact into the wall, and then, oh my heavens, down to the inside, hard contact for Givaldo. That 63 car, that was a hard lick, man. It just looked like this car drifted up the track, gets out of the groove, and then runs out of room, smacks the safer barrier, and then down to the inside, and that is a hard lick. Tough break there for Givaldo. Now looks like Givaldo may have just ran out of room on that. Got up a little bit out of the groove, ran out of room, and smacked the safer barrier. Looks like he's retired his machine, John.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard hit. I imagine he's got some significant damage there.
That'll knock your dentures out.
Just caution to get some new rubber on the car.
Yeah, definitely those guys, back in the pack there are gonna want to get some fresh rubber. We don't have a real big field here. The front 3-4, they're racing pretty hard too, so they may be under that same strategy. Get down here, get some fresh tires on the car, and get back after it.
I'm sure. Like we're in lap 63 now, and they were doing some really hard racing, and I'm sure their right tires there are getting down to about the 90%, so they'll definitely welcome this stop.
So Givaldo Spindle has retired his machine. That's a tough break there for Givaldo. Hate to see that out of him. One of our very loyal HORL members. He's here every race, man. 3 days a week, or 3 races a week, I should say. And even if we raced even more, he'd be here racing with us. You see pit stops underway. So now we got to, ask the question: 2 tires or 4? What would you go with, John?
I would go with 4. I mean, you're probably getting a pretty good fuel load there, so it's not going to take you that much more to take 4 tires, and 4 tires are always better than 2.
Bardelli Jr. staying out here. Almeida on pit lane. On board here with Ricardo Almeida is Ed Palumbo and the 24, Sean Jacobs, also Gary Madu. And I'll tell you what, man, Almeida's taken a long time here on pit lane. So battling JJ. Tell you what, man, Ricardo Almeida lost a lot of spots here on pit lane. I'm thinking he may have done a 4-tire stop, and some of these other guys did too. Almeida now pretty far back there in the grid. He's back to 7th.
Yes, a few of these guys did only take 2, and I don't know whether Ricardo had a little bit of damage here, because I think he hit the wall on that run there, so he might have had a little damage to repair too.
That's true. Bardelli Jr., the leader, Ed Palumbo 2nd, Sean Jacobs 3rd, Gary Madu is in 4th. Preston Hassel, we haven't really talked too much about Uncle Preston. The 27 car, he's running in the 5th position. He's been pretty quiet here tonight. Don't forget, later tonight we'll have the Saturday Night Thunder headed your way. Race number 5, 120 laps there from Vegas. And this is always a great series, and this will be a fun track. We'll probably have a caution-free race, I would imagine, in this series. We usually do. It's rare, I think, that we don't. Maybe we have about 1 or 2 cautions at the most, but this is a great series, man. A lot of pit strategy going on in this series, and I'm excited, man. I'll be out on the track mixing it up here with some of the guys that are out here tonight racing in the Showdown series. So this will be a fun one, and you don't want to miss it. If you want to come out and race with us, come on out. Not broadcasting, but I'll be racing tonight. Bardelli Jr., it looks like he's taking the inside line, and that's going to leave Ed Palumbo up on the outside line. 24, Sean Jacobs now in 3rd. Gary Madu in the 63 car will start in the 4th position. Schreiner and Hassel there side by side, making up that 3rd row. So 66 laps in, starting lap 67. Approaching that 30 to go range. So a little bit different look up front here with Bardelli Jr. up here in this race tonight. Mix things up a little bit. Palumbo, Jacobs, Madu, Hassel, Schreiner. Almeida now going to start in the 7th position. All right, getting ready to go back green. Here we go. Base car off. Green, green, green. Here to start lap 67. Side by side there. As Bardelli Jr. inches ahead of the 11 of Ed Palumbo. Gary Madu, Sean Jacobs side by side. Drew up on the outside line. Sean Jacobs down on the inside line. It looks like Gary Madu now has jumped up to the outside line here. Is working behind Ed Palumbo, trying to get around Bardelli Jr. This is tight. Almost made me think he was trying to split the difference there. Mike Schreiner and Ricardo Almeida side by side. Also Sean Jacobs on board here with Mike Schreiner as he's diving down to the inside. Schreiner in that 188 car making some moves here. Diving down to the inside. Bardelli Jr. on those older tires falling back. Now back to the fourth position on the outside line. Almeida battling. We got a battle for the race lead. Ed Palumbo and Gary Madu. These guys were swapping paint here a little bit earlier. Again, Ed Palumbo seems like he is hungry for a win. What great four-way battle here as Almeida now has gotten that car back up to the fourth position, and Ed Palumbo, Gary Madu still rekindling that that battle they had earlier. You're running 1 and 2. This thing's getting intense, John.
It is, and I'm not sure what happened to Sean there, but he went back some, but I see he's coming back up again.
You're watching him battle the outside of the 188 car, so he looks pretty solid. May have a winning car here tonight.
Sean is normally good at these tracks, so I wouldn't be surprised he's going to be up there vying for the lead.
Well, Ricardo Almeida has moved his car from 7th all the way back to the front, and this guy is showing some strength here tonight, battling right now Gary Madu and Ed Palumbo.
Yes, he's got a formidable foe with Ed. Ed is a very hard car to pass.
It really looks like you need a head of steam on the inside line to be able to make passes through the turns. We see some contact there between the 22 and the 63 on the cross the start-finish line. Entering turn 1, a little contact.
Yes, they've been bouncing off each other all afternoon.
They say live by the sword, die by the sword, as we see Almeida down to the inside battling the 11 now. Ricardo Almeida here.
And I think Sean's just sitting back saving his tires. He'll be up there soon.
Look at that side-by-side battle right there. That is excellent. Great stuff there. Sean Jacobs wanting to get up in this mix. But this is a great three-way battle here. Ed Palumbo, Ricardo Almeida, and Gary Madu. 1, 2, 3. And you could not put a piece of paper between the three of those guys. Ed Palumbo going to the outside. Oh, and there's contact there. Contact as Ed Palumbo comes around. Oh, Ricardo Almeida comes back across the track and takes out that 89 car. There it is. Contact. Gary Madu now the leader as he was able to escape that. Well, we haven't seen the replay yet here, but it looked like Almeida and Palumbo got together there, John.
Yes, I'm just watching it now, Heath, and it appears Ed came down to the right rear corner of Almeida there. Just swung him up into the wall.
Oh, right there. That is just a hard lick for Almeida into the wall, and Ed Palumbo sliding across, getting into the inside, and Almeida also sliding across the track there, taking out that 89 car. Man, that got busy in a hurry right there. See Ed Palumbo going to the outside. And in contact here, it looked like Almeida might have drifted up there a little bit, but they're 3 wide coming through the turn. 3 wide here. Go on board here with Almeida. And then into the wall he goes. Board here with Ed Palumbo. Oh, it was just a hard lick. Not a good place, I think, really, to get up on the outside of somebody making that 3 wide. Just not sure. You see, Madu is on the inside. I guess technically not 3 wide, and it closes up in a hurry. And turning into the wall. And it looks like Almeida comes back across the track. Kent Thomas had nowhere to go. On board here with Kent Thomas. Watch this. And then 24 got front damage in there. Kent Thomas into the 22 cars. They slid across the track. You start seeing some pit stops here. A lot of '63 car on pit lane, 22 on pit lane. That was a hard one call there, John. It looked like both those guys just sort of arguing for the same real estate.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were both sort of going for the same line, and it just got together.
Looks like Sean wasn't able to check up quick enough and got in the back of one of those cars. I think maybe got in the back of Schreiner, and he might have some front end damage he's dealing with now.
Yeah, actually, him and there's a couple other cars sort of got a bit involved in it too there.
Now, Almeida had slid across the track. Nothing he could do, and Kent Thomas, unfortunate for him, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, got into Almeida as he slid back across the track. And we see Almeida on pit lane taking some service. Pretty extensive damage for his car.
Yeah, they were just going in the turn. Pretty high speeds right there. So, like, it's when something happens in front of you, there's really not much you can do other than try to avoid it, but it's not always possible.
Well, we've seen some pretty good racing, especially up front at this track. We know this track lends itself to a little bit more of an aggressive racing style, and the guys that you think would be up front with that are up front.
Yes. There's been at at least six cars up there vying for the front position, and it's been really close, and for the most part pretty clean driving, but this should prove very interesting getting toward the end of the race.
Yeah, I think back and looking at that caution, I think when you're coming around a turn here at Vegas, there are some places, I think, even though you have the room, that you probably don't want to be, especially in a 2 wide, maybe even a 3 wide situation. Because things sort of funnel themselves down into a 2-lane scenario as you exit the turn, and that creates some issues there, I think.
Yeah, you're trying to keep it off the wall, and you're trying to give if you're on the bottom line, you don't want to be right on the bottom line because you're going to get loose. So you're both trying to the middle line. You're trying to keep it there. And like I say, at them speeds, it just takes a little touch, and then everything goes to, you know what I mean.
Well, a couple of the front runners now off the pace. Any ideas on who might be favored here? We got Bardelli Jr. strong. Madu, he's looked strong all night. Preston Hassel now in third. Been quiet, but he's got that car up in the third position now.
Yes, and I don't think Preston has much damage, if any, so that he could be the dark horse.
All right, as you heard that there, John Stainless say that Preston Hassel might be the dark horse here tonight. So Madu and Bardelli Jr. are going to start side by side here. Madu is one of those guys, man. He's aggressive, that's for sure, and sometimes takes some chances I think some of these other guys won't take. But listen, Claudio Bardelli Jr. has his streaks with a little bit of aggressiveness. This guy's got a lot of championships and a lot of wins, and he's not afraid to take a few hits there and get right back after it. He does not back down. So we'll have to see here how this shakes out. So 57 car, Claudio Bardelli Jr. up on the outside line. He is definitely one of those guys to look at here for a race win. And don't forget about Preston Hassel and Jair Oliveira. Those two guys, too, they haven't really been up front all night long, but here they are with a chance to maybe win this race. We're looking at 20 to go here when we cross the start-finish line. Back to green this time now. Here we go. Already tightening it up here into the turn. Bardelli Jr. in the 57. He's got a little help there with one of his Brazilian teammates, 117. Yeah, tighten it up. Oh, there's contact right there. 27 and the 57. Looked like the 27 might have gotten up into the 57 car. Preston Hassel might have gotten up into that 57. That 57 was hard into the wall. Preston Hassel now in that 27 trying to gather his thoughts. There was contact. Got a little bit of a late start here today with some guys having connection issues. Oliveira now falling back here. That did not benefit him at all. He's now back to the 9th position. Don Jacobs, that front end damage, running in P8. Preston Hassel collect his thoughts there after there was contact. There was contact, that's for sure, and Preston Hassel, Bardelli Jr. both got up into the wall. Look at that! Oh, there's contact right there! The 27 and the 11. Oh my heavens, man. There was contact there as well. So we're getting some more shenanigans. Palumbo and Apollo, you see that contact right there with, oh, man, look at that. That's almost took out Sean Jacobs, and there was more contact. Holy smokes. We got a battle here for the race lead. Mike Schreider and Gary Madu running away from this field a little bit where they want to be. But look who's gotten their car repaired and on his way. He's in the lucky dog position. And that's the 22, Ricardo Almeida. He wants that lucky dog. He wants that. He wants to get that car back on the lead lap. Mike Schreiner now to the lead. Here on lap 86. Early on, he's making a lot of noise. Fell back. and now has worked his way back to the front here. He and Gary Madu, 1-2. Claudio Bardelli Jr. has got a little bit of right side damage he's dealing with. He's running in the third position. Kent Thomas, he's had a little bit of an interesting night. He's now in the fourth spot. Take a look at Kent Thomas. There's Bardelli Jr. and Kent Thomas there racing in third and fourth. Thomas showing some muscle here. Down to the inside, taking a peek on Bardelli Jr. Sean Jacobs on a mission here. He wants to get this car back up front. He's battling Kent Thomas. Down to the inside. Govea also down there as well. That's 6 car. Great battle here as Claudio Bardelli Jr. running in third. Kent Thomas is in the fourth position. These guys want figured out is trying to close in on those race leaders. Kent Thomas to the outside, try to get a run. Rubbing off some speed there as Bardelli Jr. opens up a gap on him. Mike Schreiner, the leader. On a half a second lead over Gary Madu. Bardelli Jr. in third, Kent Thomas fourth, Sean Jacobs in fifth. Sean Jacobs starting to close in on Kent Thomas here. Down to the inside, cannot pull off that pass, the 89. Remember, Sean Jacobs got a little front end damage. You see that 89 car getting a little wiggly there. Little squirrely through the turn. But off turn 4, and he's holding on to that spot as a 24, trying to get by. He's got a fast car, but he has got to get back to this front, get back around that 89 car is the first order of business. Paulo Govea in this mix as well, that Toyota. Oh, and he makes contact with the wall. That lifted the right side of that car up off the ground. As the 24, Sean Jacobs down to the inside. Going to pick up P4, gets around the 89 of Kent Thomas. We're starting to wind down the laps here. Preston Hassel and Ed Palumbo here battling it out. Oh, Preston Hassel into the wall. More contact there for Preston Hassel. Look at this, Gary Madu tightened it up. He's closed back up onto Mike Schreiner. Madu may have been saving his tires. Claudio Bardelli Jr. trying to claw his way back. He's in third. Here on lap 93. Bit of a 3-horse race right now, and that is Schreiner, Madu, and Bardelli Jr. Sean Jacobs has gotten around Kent Thomas and on his way into this mix. He's about 1.9 seconds back. These guys start getting a little racy, and that's all he's going to need. That 24 car getting back up front could be bad news for these guys. Mike Schreiner leading the field here on lap 94. Gary Madu is in second. Need a long green flag run here, a longer green flag run. These guys are getting it sorted out a little bit. One, two, three, as guess what? Claudio Bardelli Jr. has gotten his car back up to this front too. He's down to the inside. Gary Madu just ahead in that 63 on the outside line. Mike Schreiner, the 188. The race leader. 3-way battle now. See what John Stanley, Claudio Bardelli Jr. climbing up into this tandem here really changes the game potentially for this front two.
Yes, It's going to be a thrilling finish if the caution doesn't come out, because I think they're about equally strong right now.
You see Bardelli Jr. going down to the inside. He did drop down below that white line there. He was looking down. He did not gain a position. Two laps to go. Schreiner, the leader. Badou in second. Bardelli Jr. in third. Bardelli Jr. trying to find a way to get around. Side by side there for second. Mike Schreiner definitely wants to see that. There is no doubt. Side by side there for the second position. Bardelli Jr. does get around the 63 car. Is he on 4 fresh tires? We got 1 to go. 1 to go. As Mike Schreiner, can he hold on? Now racing side by side there for the second position. They're sideways right there. Badou got into the back of Claudio Bardelli Jr., and that gives Mike Schreiner the room he needs to be able to pull off this race victory. And Mike Schreiner is going to come away with the race victory here at Las Vegas. Wow, what a finish there. What a finish. Wow. 188, Mike Schreiner getting the win. Mike Schreiner gets the race win here. Oh, my heavens, man. That was interesting. Gary Badou and Claudio Bardelli Jr. got together, and Mike Schreiner able to hold on for the win. Well, congratulations to Mike Schreiner in the 188 paint scheme, getting the race win. Very interesting race. Take a look at the session results here. Mike Schreiner gets the win. Gary Badou finishes in second. Claudio Bardelli Jr. third. Sean Jacobs finishes in the fourth position. Good battling there for Sean Jacobs to get around the fifth place car. Kent Thomas. Jairo Leveda finishes sixth. Ed Palumbo finishes seventh. Preston Hassel eighth. Ricardo Almeida finishes in ninth. Paulo Gouveia finishes in the 10th position. Finishing in 11th is Will Dunbar. And Givaldo Espindola finishes in the 12th spot. A little bit lower count here tonight as we got some of the folks I know probably have that internet blockage in a certain part of the world, so we definitely hate that. See those guys not able to make it out here for the race. That lighten the field as well. So congratulations to Mike Schreiner on getting the win here at Vegas. We'll see if we can't get him up in the booth with us. All right, John, we're going to pull Mike Schreiner up here in the booth, and got a very interesting finish to that race. With the Claudio Bardelli Jr. clawing back up into that top two.
Yes, it was very tense and sort of shows the advantage having a team car with you.
All right, we're going to pull Mike Schreiner up here and get a little interview with him. All right, Mike Schreiner joining us up in the booth. John Stanley with us as well. And, wow, that was an intense race there. You and Gary looked like you guys had that checked out, but then Bardelli Jr. made it interesting by clawing back up there to fight you two.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the lead car is kind of at a disadvantage in some ways because you're not getting the draft to get that speed, so you can't get away too far. So I just got out as far front as I could when I had good tires, and then they started getting a little hot and started pulling back just a little bit.
Well, John and I were talking throughout the race when you guys were making pit stops, what the strategies were playing out there. Were you doing 2 tire stops, 4 tire stops? What was your strategy?
I tried to get 4 whenever I could, but in the middle there, next to the last stop, I took 2. And it was okay for about 5-6 laps, and then it started getting kind of loose, and I lost probably 3 or 4 positions. Kind of got caught back in traffic there, and you just got to be real careful. Guys are checking up and stuff. But other than that, we tried to keep it as clean as we could, and ended up back up front towards the end.
This track seems to lend itself to a little bit more of aggressive racing. How do you approach a track like this when you know that it's going to be tight, especially through the tri-oval and coming off the turns?
Oh, you just gotta, trust your car and your spotter and just go all out. And because if you let off here in these cars, you lose your momentum and you're gonna get freight trained inside or outside. Guys passed me on the outside at one point tonight, and there's nothing I could do about it. But yeah, just be aggressive as you can. There was a lot of aggressive racing and some blocking tonight, but it all ended up working out.
Well, next week is Phoenix Raceway, definitely a different beast there. I called that the 5-turn track. How do you feel about your chances there at Phoenix?
Well, that's one of my favorite tracks, so hopefully I show up and maybe run up front quite a bit. But I definitely love that track. That's one of my favorites.
Well, hey, congratulations on the victory here at Vegas. And I spent 11 days in Vegas, probably 7 days more than I should have spent. Be careful out there and don't end up in jail.
All right, thanks, Heath.
All right, bud. Congrats.
Thank you.
Good finish there, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was great having you up here in the booth with us, John. We did all right, sort of a last-minute deal, but did a great job. And, what was your kind of take on this whole race?
Well, it was an aggressive race, a lot of bumping and trashing, and a few accidents, not too bad. And I know I enjoyed being up there in the booth. It's a lot less intense than it is on the track in your car.
Well, it depends on the day, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Any day if you're on the track, it's intense, or it is it with me.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us up here at the booth tonight, John, and hopefully we'll see you out on the track. I don't know what your plan is tonight, but definitely racing in Saturday Night Thunder, and hope to see you there.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me up. Like I say, I enjoyed it, and I'll definitely try to be at the track tonight if the rFactor will cooperate.
All right, buddy. That's John Stanley joining us up here in the booth. How about that, huh? John Staple Gun Stanley joining us up here in the booth. It's sort of a last-minute deal. I just thought of it. He didn't get into the race here. We were having some trouble with people connecting. He didn't get into the race, so I thought, you know what? I'll end up asking him if he would mind joining us up here in the booth. And sometimes I got to work out the kind of the logistics of that, so to speak, and was able to, I think, do a pretty good job of getting him weaved in there. And we weren't talking over one another. So glad to see John coming up here in the booth. He's always got a great analysis of the race too. John does a great job of reviewing the races and, kind of looking at those caution flags and so forth. He does great work here at High Octane Racing League. And we definitely appreciate him. And he did a great job today in the booth. Really did a great job. So excited to see John up here with us, joining us at TurnLeftTV. Well, we do have some racing headed your way, as I indicated there talking to John. I'll be back out on the track here at Vegas. 120 laps. Racing starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be practicing at 7 p.m., so come on out and join us. We call this Beat Up on the Broadcaster Night. I'll be out there mixing it up with some of the guys that you saw out here tonight. Man, I hope they'll take it easy on me and maybe give me a shot of having a chance to win this race. So Saturday Night Thunder headed your way here. Race number 5 of the season. Racing starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say thank you so much for joining us here on TurnLeft TV. Peace to everybody out there. And what an interesting race. Thanks for being patient, man. We got a late start here, and I apologize for that. And we had a little bit of a low driver count tonight, too, because of some of the internet issues that are happening around the world. And we definitely send our thoughts and prayers out to everybody in the world. So hopefully cooler heads prevail at some point. But thanks for coming in here and joining me on TurnLeft TV. Going to have a little chat with some of my friends and get ready for the race here a little bit later. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you next time. I am out of here.